Too late.
Daily dollars worth.
All right. That's good.
That's good. I'll do one.
You guys ready? Everybody good? All right. Thank you for coming out this afternoon on a short notice. I wanted to provide you an update. As I told you before, we have some additional information. Things typically change. A lot of times they do change, and I want to update you with the information that actually has changed. So in the past 2 days, after gathering some more evidence and speaking with more witnesses, detectives have since learned that there were a total of 3 people in the Challenger, not 2 as I originally told you. Surveillance video from the area inside of Cambridge Cove shows the following. The Challenger blocked the path of the RAV4 that I previously told you about that was trying to leave. I think I originally indicated to you that he blocked him nose to nose. That's not the case. He actually kind of just pulled in front of him and kind of just blocked him off by pulling in front of him. It wasn't nose to nose. 2 persons exited the front passenger door of the Challenger, Camarius Wilson, who was holding a handgun, and a second suspect who was holding a rifle. Camarius Wilson, you'll remember, is the one that was dropped off at the hospital and subsequently passed away from his injuries. He approached the driver's door first and then ran around to the back of the RAV4. That's additional information that we hadn't released before. Right as the shooting was started, he ran around to the back of the RAV4 from the front passenger side door. The second suspect exited the Challenger and approached the RAV4, and at some point, shots were exchanged between the male that was sitting in the RAV4 on the front passenger seat, starting to return fire, while the female who was in the driver's seat of the RAV4, Ms. Baez, fled the vehicle with the infant that was in the back seat, the 3-month-old. The second suspect opened fire multiple times into the front of the RAV4 with the rifle. Camarius Wilson ran from the back of the victim's vehicle around a parked car and ran back to the Challenger. The suspect holding the rifle was the first person to re-enter the Challenger through the passenger side door. Camarius Wilson then entered the Challenger second through the passenger side door, and the vehicle fled from the complex down Kathleen Road. Camarius Wilson appeared injured because you can see his foot hanging out of the passenger door as the vehicle fled from the apartment complex down Kathleen Road. The medical examiner has since determined that the injuries to Jaquiz Norton, who was the little 3-month-old in the back seat on the passenger side, and Camarius Wilson, who was the suspect I just described that ran around the back of the passenger car and then ran back around to the Challenger, were both injured with a round that is very consistent with the .223, or the rifle round that was being fired from the gentleman from the front that was standing in front of the RAV4. Evidence that the unidentified suspect with a rifle struck both Jaquiz Norton and Camarius Wilson as he was firing into the RAV4. So the same individual that had the rifle and was shooting through the front windshield injured and killed both the 3-month-old in the back seat and Camarius Wilson. Through investigative means, the unidentified suspect with a rifle that I've been referring to here this afternoon as an unidentified suspect has since been identified as Kavarius Green, 30 years of age. An arrest warrant has been obtained by our detectives for Kavarius Green, charging him with 2 counts of first-degree murder, which is a capital felony, shooting into an occupied vehicle, which is a felony of the 2nd degree, and attempted first-degree murder with a weapon, which is a life felony. The attempted murder was from the gentleman that was injured in the hip. We now know that Camarius Wilson's brother, Demarius Wilson, was involved as well. Demarius Wilson was present at a relative's house in the 800 block of West 14th Street. Remember, I told you that's where the Challenger fled to originally when they tried to take the victim out and put him in another vehicle. We know for a fact he was at 14th Street. He declared to the relative, who ended up being his uncle, that his brother had been shot, and he also helped put Camarius Wilson in another vehicle that subsequently transported him to Lakeland Regional Health. Demarius Wilson was seen in the Challenger with Camarius Wilson shortly before the shooting. So we have Demarius in the Challenger before the shooting, and we have him after the shooting. Demarius Wilson was seen running from the Challenger after it was hidden between the two houses after the shooting as well. Demarius Wilson has been charged with tampering with evidence, which is an F3. He also is currently on federal pretrial release for wire fraud. The wire fraud consisted of the Paycheck Protection Program, which he was charged with violating that. So he was on federal pretrial release. During the past 2 days, detectives with the Lakeland Police Department have served over 17 search warrants and are continuing to look for the two individuals pictured to my right and to your left. Certainly, anyone with additional information or can tell us where these two individuals are asked to encourage to call Detective Corey Lawson at 834-8975. That's 863-834-8975. Or you can email him at Corey, C-O-R-Y, .Lawson, L-A-W-S-O-N, at lakelandgov.net. Certainly, if you wish to remain anonymous, the contact information for Heartland Crime Stoppers is there. If you wish to remain anonymous, there is a $5,000 tip that would be available to you. We are certainly looking for these two guys. We spent the better part of the evening and early this morning looking for them after we obtained the arrest warrants. We do not know as of this date where they are, and we need the public's help in helping us identify these two individuals. We very much want to get both of these gentlemen off the street, and I use that term loosely. So, and I'll stand for questions.
Do we have a motive yet?
No, we're still trying to figure that out. It's maybe a combination of a couple things, but as soon as we have one, I'll certainly let you know.
And you confirm that the mother did know Camarius Wilson, but does not know Cavarius Green?
She does not know him. She knew, she identified him. I will tell you that she identified him, but she did not know him by name. Yes, she does know, she did know Camarius, yes.
Cavarius was the driver of the Challenger?
That's a very good question. We believe that he is the driver. The problem is we can't, right now, put him behind the scene at the time of the shooting. We can put him in the car before the shooting. We can put him in the car at 14th Street where they dropped the car off, and we can put him running from the car after they hit it and pull the tarp over the car. But right now, we can't put him behind the scenes, but we very much suspect that he was the driver since the other two individuals got in the passenger side and the car took off. The car wasn't driving itself. But right now, I can't prove that, but I highly suspect that.
You said that one of their feet was hanging out the window. Did they dive into the window to get away?
The video that I've seen, no, the door was open. They got in the door. I believe they were shot as they went around the back of the RAV4, and the Green was putting the rounds through the front of the RAV4. I believe he caught one round, was hit with one of the 223 rounds at that point. He just had enough adrenaline to continue to run and made it into the open passenger side door of the Challenger. And he probably died, if not right then or shortly after.
Where was he hit?
He was hit in the neck.
So the three people in the Challenger that you believe are these two and then the other Wilson brother that died?
Wilson, for sure. The other Wilson, I suspect, was the driver, and certainly Green was the one with the rifle.
You suspect Green is the driver?
Do I suspect Green was the driver? No, I suspect Wilson was the driver. Green was the one holding the rifle and putting the rounds through the front window that ended up killing the 3-year-old little baby and the other Wilson. It gets very confusing. Sorry.
Do they live in Lakeland?
They all from Lakeland, Polk, Plant City, and Orlando area. I believe the one gentleman that was on the federal pretrial release, he listed his address as Orlando.
You said the two Wilsons are related?
They are, they're brothers.
Chief, what kind of information have you received from the public, and how important is it
Sure, great question. We've received quite a few tips, and we continue to receive those as we're speaking. I'm hoping that people are picking the phone up and calling us. It's critical that someone knows where they are. Certainly, you may have a piece of information that you don't think is important, but we would very much like you to call us anyway because it probably is vitally important. So it's very important that the public get involved. We do not know where they are right now. We have some good ideas and some areas that we would be interested in looking, but we do not know where they are as of standing here today talking to you.
Maybe they're still in the general Lakeland, greater Lakeland area?
I don't know. They have gone into the wind, so to speak. We do not know where they are.
Did Mr. Green have a criminal record? No?
He does probably. I don't have that information in front of me.
Are they related,
Who?
the two on that poster?
They have some relation. I'm not sure what it is. It's like cousins or second cousins, something along those lines.
Based on what you guys know so far, it appears that, Camarius was killed by someone you knew. Can you just speak to, how brazen this entire event was that, a bullet from his own friend or cousin hit him as well as
Sure.
the three-year-old?
Sure. Like I mentioned to you the other day, it was a situation at 6:30 in the evening, spring break, kids are out playing, it's an apartment complex, people are coming and going. It's incredibly dangerous what these guys were doing and put a lot of people at danger and a lot of people at risk, and that's why we very much want to get them off the street as quickly as we can. So anybody that has information, we certainly want you to pick the phone up and call us or call Crime Stoppers.
Is there any kind of gang affiliation?
Not that we've seen so far, no ma'am.
The passenger in the RAV4 who was shot, do you have any
In the
kind
hip?
of update on his condition?
I believe he is still in the hospital or he's been released. He's still in the hospital, he's still in the hospital with non-life-threatening injuries.
And no motive yet, you said?
No, ma'am. We have a couple of different ideas, but right now we haven't been able to firm that up. All right. Thank you guys for coming out. Appreciate you. Have a good afternoon. We'll certainly give you more information if we get it, so.
One more time for clarity, which Wilson do you believe was behind the wheel?
Yeah, because I think at first you had mentioned Green and then Mr. Wilson said.
Did I? I'm sorry if I mentioned Green was behind the wheel. No, I'm getting confused as well, so. I believe, and this is me talking, I believe that Demarius was probably the driver. Demarius Wilson, correct, the one on the poster.
He's driving, the other guys get out,
Yes, correct.
and then both jump back in passenger.
Passenger side, correct.
Did one of those guys get shot as well?
No. Oh, no, his brother got shot.
His brother got shot.
Yes, his brother got shot. Camarius is the one that got shot in the neck.
And killed.
Yeah, and killed, yes. Yes, that's correct. Camarius and little Jaquez Norton, the three.
And the passenger inside of the car had a weapon as well?
He did. He had two weapons. He had a 9mm and he had a rifle. He fired the 9mm. As they were running back, Wilson ran around behind the RAV4 and was running back towards the passenger side of the Challenger. You can hear rounds being fired by Mr. Enzing, is his name. He was returning fire as they were running away, trying to get out of the area.
But it wasn't his gun that killed the guy?
No, no. Doesn't look like he did,
It was
no.
the rifle that is believed to kill the child.
That's based on the information we have now. Yes, it was a .223 round or something very similar to a .223 round. And those rounds are very different. A rifle round versus a handgun round are very different. So,
The rifle again?
Anyone in GSS call communications, please? Anyone in GSS call communications, please?
sorry. Well, I'm sorry, what was your question?
Who had the rifle? Green?
Green had the rifle, yes. Yeah, Green had the rifle, and he was the one that got out of the passenger side of the Challenger and was putting rounds through the windshield of the RAV4, trying to hit Enzing, because that's where Enzing was sitting. Remember, he was in the passenger seat. And Enzing, when the door was open, he had actually rolled out into the parking lot, and Green didn't know that, so he's still putting rounds through the windshield into the passenger seat, which are going through the windshield, through the passenger seat, and that's where they struck Mr. Little Norton. Yeah.
Will you guys be releasing any of the security camera video that you have?
Not right away, no. It's still part of the investigation. We're still trying to sort through all that, so, sorry.
Is the passenger facing any charges that was in the RAV4 that was defended? Is he facing any charges?
He is not, no. Right now, certainly if we develop additional information, so I'd like to leave that open-ended, but no, sir, not right now. So, all right, get enough? right, thank you, guys, appreciate you.